Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're gonna be reacting to
6 foods Brits and Americans name totally different.
Some of the most basic foods and ingredients in a British kitchen don't even exist in the United States, at least not by name. I moved from the UK to the US thinking I was ready for all the little culture shocks until a simple baking session completely stumped me. So today I'm sharing 6 everyday kitchen staples that the UK and US both love, even though we can't agree on what to call them.
okay.
So let's start with the humble courgette, or as Americans call it, zucchini. Same green vegetable, two
Courgette.
very different.
I have never heard that word in my life.
Mm.
Zucchini.
Do you like zucchini?
I can eat it. It's not like I'm not gonna
Is
go.
it different for you for cucumber?
Of course, it's completely different.
Words. And
Courgette.
here's the fun bit,
Wow.
both names actually come
Hmm.
from other languages. The American word zucchini comes straight from Italian. A little
It
nod
does
to the
sound. I was gonna
Italian
say it sounds
immigrants who brought the
Italian.
vegetable and their recipes over to the
Zucchini.
States. In Italian, zucchini means little squash, which is exactly what it is. The
That's
British
what it
word
is. Yeah.
courgette took a different route, arriving through France, where the name simply means little squash in French. So while the veg is
Aww.
identical, the names reflect who introduced it to each
Well,
country.
that's
The
interesting.
US got the Italian influence, Britain picked up the French, and now we're left with a vegetable that sounds far more glamorous than it really is. Whether you order courgette or zucchini, you're still just getting a green squash. Next up is the glossy purple aubergine, known in the States as an eggplant. And believe it or not, that name makes perfect sense once you know the history. The US
This,
term
I feel like these are both used. Aubergine, you kind of know what it is. I don't know. Maybe it's a more common vegetable. That's why, but
comes from early varieties of the plant that were small, white, and shaped a bit like eggs. When the fruit arrived in North America in the 1800s, those were the types people first grew, and the nickname eggplant stuck even after the deep purple variety became the norm. Britain, once again, followed the French. The word aubergine comes from French after the fruit had done quite a bit of travelling across continents before finally landing in France and then making its way into Britain. So, while Americans went with a name inspired by how it looked, Brits kept the name that reflected where it wandered.
That's
Two
interesting.
names, one fruit, though we cook it like a vegetable and it tastes just as good roasted or grilled. Just remember, if you ask for an aubergine in the States, you might get a few puzzled looks, so be ready to say eggplant instead. Next on the list is the hearty jacket potato, known in the States as a baked potato. In Britain, we call it both baked potato
Oh.
and jacket potato. So if you're
never
visiting
heard
from
of
the
Baked
jacket
US, you will
potato.
be
potato.
perfectly fine asking for a baked potato. The nickname jacket potato simply comes from the fact that it's baked with its jacket on, so with its skin still on. They can be cooked slightly
Oh,
differently on
that's
each
the
side of the Atlantic, but
cute.
it's still the same thing, a potato baked with its skin on. Ask for a jacket potato in the States though, and you'll probably get a few puzzled looks because the term just isn't commonly used here. Now, number 4 is what actually kicked this entire list
I
off.
never had a baked
I wanted
potato
to
like
make
that.
scones, and a
Really?
Mm-mm.
I have some basic food. Like I sometimes I would just you would make like a potato like that and put some ham on it. Like instead of bread, you just eat a potato.
Mm.
Like for potassium, if you want potassium. So that's what I would do. Like yeah, put butter and some like ham or cheese. Cheese,
You
yeah,
put butter?
yeah, butter, cheese, and ham. Yeah.
Mm.
essential part of a British afternoon tea. So I gathered my ingredient list, which included caster sugar, and headed to the store. But caster sugar was nowhere to be found, and the shop assistant I asked for help just looked at me really confused. Only later did I learn that the same fine grained sugar is sold in the States as superfine sugar or sometimes baker's sugar. In the UK, though, it's almost always labeled caster sugar. Superfine and baker's sugar are American names, and you won't typically see them on British packaging.
Interesting.
The reason? History. In Britain, finely milled sugar has long been served from a small shaker called a caster, from the old verb to cast to sprinkle. Americans had the same type of sugar and still have similar shakers today, but the word caster never became part of everyday language.
Mm.
Instead, they simply
That's interesting. I never heard of the superfine sugar. I thought all sugar is the same. I didn't even
No,
know.
there's crystal sugar.
I know like sugar cubes. I know
Mm.
that, but I didn't know like there's different grained, like
Mm-hmm.
finely grained, and learning first today. Wow.
described the texture and called it superfine or baker's sugar. Next up is a vegetable with more names than it needs, meat the
Whoa.
Swede. except don't expect to see it named that everywhere in the States. I was shopping in Walmart and I instantly
It's
recognized the
beetroot, no?
Swede, but the label said rutabaga. I have never
Oh,
heard this
rutabaga.
word before in my
Oh.
entire life, but I was
I never had one.
I will be honest,
rutabaga.
I don't know neither. I've never heard neither words. I don't look to me like a beetroot, just not red. I don't.
100% sure that I
Thought it
was
was a
looking at a
turnip.
Swede. So I asked a few of my American friends, and some of them had no idea what a rutabaga was. They also call it a Swede, but other friends I asked have never heard of a Swede. So it really depends on where you're from and where you're shopping when it comes to what you'll hear. It's just like in some regions of Scotland and northern England, you'll hear Swede referred to as a turnip, adding another layer of naming to keep things confusing.
Still
It
turnip,
might
I
show
guess.
up in slightly different dishes on each side of the Atlantic, but it's the very same root vegetable. So if you're in the US, depending on where you are, if you're after a Swede, you might need to look for a rutabaga. Our final example is a leafy one that tripped me up at first. What I've always known as
Spinach?
coriander is called cilantro in the States. Now, the first time I heard someone say
I've
add
seen
it
coriander before though.
You know what coriander sounds like? Like a colander, like the bowl.
The colander?
Yeah, colander. Yeah, like
Oh.
that's what it sounds. That's what I thought
of
initially.
cilantro. I thought it was some fancy new herb that I'd never tried before. Turns out it was just my old friend coriander leaves. And here's the twist. Americans use cilantro for the fresh green leaves, but they still call the dried seeds coriander, just like we do in the UK. So the same plant gets two names in the States depending on which part you're using, which
Interesting.
can be a little bit confusing at first. But there you have it, 6 everyday foods and ingredients with names that
Yeah, interesting. This was interesting. Some of these, yeah, I've never heard. Like that rutabaga. I don't even know. I guess not a vegetable that we eat. I've never. Yeah, never
You know
seen
how
it.
you cook it.
Mm.
Guys, so go ahead to listen to your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. And always, share as much kindness as possible.